Thank you for coming back to another Hamza Khan show video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate you guys coming back as well. I'm just gonna get right into this week in wrestling. It's been a bit of a, I'm not gonna say slow week. It's been more sort of a build up week, if you get what I'm saying. It's kind of, it hasn't, there's been moments, but not really. There's been small moments, but not necessarily any huge unpredictable moments so far this week, and I feel like it has been a little bit disappointing in certain aspects. We'll start off out with Raw. I think the main thing people were coming off from Raw about, we're talking about what happened with the Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns storyline, which I am still enjoying, and I feel like, especially with what happened at Backlash, you needed to continue that story in some sort of way. And Jacob coming out, Roman Reigns being in the ring with the Usos, Jacob comes out, he arrives to the arena, pushes Jay, pushes Jimmy, and basically says that if Roman wants to acknowledge, if Roman wants him to acknowledge him, then he's gonna have to beat it out of him. He's not gonna just accept that the fact that he lost at Backlash due to kind of tomfoolery uh, be the be all and end all. If Roman wants Jacob to acknowledge him, he's gonna do that. He has to do the same thing that he did to Jay, that he made Jay get into line. He basically they had that Hell in a Cell match, and it was a case of um, not only physically beating Jay, but also mentally destroying Jay in that match as well, and the kind of lead up all the way up to that match, which caused a lot of effect to Jay. So in that aspect, you understand Jacob's point of view. It didn't like sunshines and rainbows. If Roman wants that acknowledgement, he's going to have to beat it out of Jacob, and he clearly wasn't able to do that on Monday Night Raw. It was kind of a case of Jacob Fatu. There was some kind of pushback from Roman, but Jacob had control, and whatever Roman threw at him just wasn't good enough, and it ended in that there was a announce table kind of break in, and then after that, Jacob speared the the Usos and Roman through the barricade, which was, I guess, it was kind of there to show how unhinged and how crazy um, Jacob Fatu is. But I feel like there could have been more to it, something that is so unhinged that you would never think that Jacob would do that, because those spots we see them quite often, if we're being honest, in many stories where people are going through tables, people are going through barricades, and it kind of defeats the point if it's constant. And I feel like, because due to the fact that many people have gone through the table, gone through the barricade, you lose that essence. And if you want to build up kind of equity into Jacob, especially in the storyline going forwards, you need something more impactful and more monumental, I would say, that I want to see going forwards. We had this tongue and death grip, which I think has kind of come and gone. It wasn't as they sold it. Is essentially just a submission. It isn't anything special. It isn't anything that they've kind of built up. It's a submission. It puts the person to sleep, and that's about it. they're not impacted afterwards. They're not, it's not necessarily, it's not as bad as a pile driver or a punt where there's lasting effects. It kind of just, it happens, the moment happens, like any other finisher, and they kind of move on from it. So I don't feel like that tongue and death grip is kind of, is lost all its wow factor, uh, I would say, and we kind of need to move past that and show Jacob in a more crazier and more impactful way, and something that you would just not expect Jacob to do, or you would expect Jacob to, due to the fact that he needs that WWE championship and he doesn't care if Roman's put in a hospital and he drags it off the hospital bed off Roman Reigns. So I feel like that is something that we want to see going forward, because it's all well and good him attacking the Usos and Roman. You just got, you, that moment needs to be there. That moment that I feel like has kind of been, it's been there up to 80%, but you need to get to that 100%. And I feel like having Jacob do something more crazy and more kind of outrageous in the next couple of weeks would kind of solidify and push that fact. Moving on, what else happened on Raw? You had a amazing kind of back and forth between Penta and Ethan Page, which I really enjoyed. Ethan Page is really, really good, and he's been really kind of presented in a positive kind of, for his character, way on Raw so far. And while watching that kind of back and forth, I wouldn't be mad if, as much as I love Penta and Penta is great as Intercontinental Champion, Ethan Page winning that Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event is something I'm kind of happy with. It's not something that I'm kind of, if it happened, I wouldn't be mad about it, because I feel like Ethan Page being that Intercontinental Champion, that arrogant kind of crazy kind of, he's real, but he's egotistical, and that's what you kind of love and hate about him. That I really enjoyed. Another standout was the Oba kind of having no challenger on Monday Night Raw, which is, it's kind of silly in a way. Like, he's came out, he's done the entrance, and you've not told him. You've had all day to say to him that, yeah, no one's coming out, but Adam Pearce leaves it to last minute. You kind of crushed Los Gaza. They kind of got cooked, even though they are really good wrestlers and really well done. Sorry for that. Um, I guess if you're feeding them to Obafemi, you're kind of feeding them to Obafemi. I feel like this open challenge needs to end soon enough. Unless you're getting some good people in, and it becomes, not, it doesn't necessarily have to be competitive, but more so, what's the right word? Kind of meaningful, if you get what I'm saying. We want to see more of Obafemi, so having him there crush two guys is a very memorable moment. Maybe I change my mind next week and I see it from a different point of view. I feel like I wanted more, if you get what I'm saying. But maybe that was the kind of um, goal from the full segment. Off the back of that, you had, what else happened on Raw? Everything with the Vision and Seth Rollins, which was a bit, I don't really remember it. Was it? I don't think it was as good as you would want it. And then you also had, so right, that's about it. You had that amazing Io Sky versus Sol Ruka match. which was really good. I enjoyed that. But for an overall Raw, it was a bit. It got carried by the main event, I would say. The latter half of the show carried that kind of that Raw. Um, off the back of that, we had SmackDown this week, which I think was a good SmackDown. It wasn't anything amazing, but I enjoyed it. I just feel like they need to do. It's a bit of a complainer episode today, but and I even kind of said it at the beginning. It was a kind of a stepping stone kind of week for wrestling. It wasn't necessarily anything major happened. But looking at it as a positive way, I really enjoyed the fact that Gunther's arrogance got tested. He thought he had the mind games. He thought he had the control, especially with uh, Paul Heyman giving him that favor so that he can come down to SmackDown and challenge for that, for the WWE Championship, the Undisputed, and essentially Royce Keys coming out and saying, "If you ain't gonna sign it, I'm gonna sign it." Which was, how long does it take you to sign a contract? You could have done that by the time Gunther had got to the ring, but storyline obviously. I enjoyed their match. I thought it was a really good match back and forth, and I enjoyed the fact that Gunther came out at the end of the match and kind of, not Gunther, sorry, Cody Rhodes came out at the end of the match and got the one over on Gunther. Royce Keys look really well done. I'm interested to see what happens going forward with Solo. Is it a case where Royce Keys kind of gets one over on Solo, and is a case that Solo is kind of beaten by Royce Keys, or is it a case where does Royce Keys align himself with the MFTs for a while, and they become a bit of a bigger faction? Um, I, Solo's so great and he's so well done. He does everything right, but you just want him more. But he's kind of stuck in terms of how they kind of creatively book him. So he ain't gonna get bigger, badder, cooler. He ain't gonna get weaker. He's kind of in that middle part where you're doing something, but you're not really doing something. You've got the Tama story, which doesn't has been going on forever. But are you gonna really? How many episodes are we gonna have until it actually finally explodes? And how long does that take? Mm. Other than that, what else has happened on SmackDown? Can't really remember. It's a bit of a. Even though I said it was good, I feel like it got carried by the beginning and ending bit of the show. The rest of the show was kind of, let's get through it. Um, oh, I forgot what happened at the beginning. Trick Williams had that amazing kind of entrance, and he had that back and forth with the Miz. I like this feud going forwards for the Miz and Kit Wilson, having a back and forth with Trick Williams. Yeah, it looked really well done. I enjoyed that really well. The fact that Trick quicked out of that skull crushing finale, positives all around. What else happened this week? We had NXT, which was really good. I can't see any problems with NXT throughout the show. Good matches, good storylines. It kind of bounced back from the previous weeks that were okay, but not anything really well done. But this week was really enjoyable. And then we had AAA, which is the best show ever, really, right now. El Grande Americano. I'm so pumped up about this El Grande Americano kind of culmination mask versus mask match. Hopefully, and I think they will deliver with this, it has given it time. When we get to that match, give it all the theatrics, give it all the kind of hype packages, give it all the pyro, everything you need, darken the arena, make it such a big match feel because that storyline has been going on for a year and a half, 2 years, and it's been one of the best stories we've had in a very long time. The the lore behind it, the integration with the fans, how the Mexican fans have kind of wrapped themselves around the story as well, how positive and how loved, and that you can see it, it's authentic in the real Americano, how much he's embodied that character. When in the beginning you kind of thought that's a bit of a comedic kind of gig, you go, well, I wouldn't be mad if El Grande Americano just stuck with Americano forever. Maybe that's his just character for now, because he is so great with it, and he is so, the storyline's interesting, the positives are just always there. The original El Grande Americano, the fact that we got the creeds and the um, Rayon Bravo involved, and that's your equalizer straight away. That kind of that moment where the creeds are trying to take off Bravo's mask, and you can can see Bravo's he's basically putting his hand in his mouth trying to stop them from taking the mask off, and you got El Grande Americano coming out, and the OG just looking at him, staring at him, saying like, "You can't touch me." It's so great, so enjoyable, and I'm very very hyped up for that mask versus mask match. I think it's at the end of the month, and if I could choose to go to a wrestling event, I would go to that one because that is gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's made me happy as well. Um, it's gonna be a bit of a short video this week, but thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if it was good, leave a dislike if it was bad, and peace.